Hi everyone, I'm Carolyn Douglas. Welcome to UW 360. We're joining you from the Henry Art Gallery, known around here simply as the Henry. Founded in 1927 and located on the west edge of campus, the Henry is the only museum dedicated to contemporary art in our region. We'll get a special tour of one of this gallery's biggest exhibits ever a little later in the show. Plus, it's a small stage with a mighty big sound. We'll peek behind the curtain at the renowned UW School of Music and see why it's attracting world-class talent. Also, we'll hear from the UW professor of pharmacy, whose new study has found a persistent link between dementia and some common over-the-counter drugs. And we'll hit the water with the boys in the boat and row along with the Husky men's crew team. First, though, we take you south to UW Tacoma. On that campus's 25th anniversary, UW interim president Anna-Mari Kause announced that Dr. Mark Pagano will be the 4th chancellor of the University of Washington, Tacoma.
On the edge of its 25th anniversary, UW-Tacoma has come a long way, which is why we're excited to introduce you to UWT's new chancellor, Mark Pagano, who's ready to propel this campus into the future.
And I have this life goal to run 25,000 miles, which would be once around the world. I hope to do that right here in Tacoma, Washington.
Mark Pagano is a man of many goals. We sat down at a local coffee shop to discuss Pagano's passion for education.
I was a non-traditional student. I was older than my student colleagues as well. I was working at the time I was going to school. I worked through my entire educational career. And because of that, I went to school for about 20 years.
Pagano established a career in higher education that spans 30 years. But what really drew him to UWT was the desire to help other non-traditional students like himself.
What we specialize in at the University of Washington, Tacoma is helping each and every student where they are and helping them be successful in achieving that goal of a University of Washington education.
As an anchor institution located in the heart of downtown, all 4,500 students can live, work, and learn in the same space.
When you get out of your car and walk onto this campus, you feel like you're in part of the city. You don't necessarily feel like you're only on a college campus. You feel like you're on a college campus, but you're in a high traffic, involved, vibrant, urban community, and you are.
UW-Tacoma is not only great for the students, but also the community and its economy. You can see around 30 private businesses woven throughout the campus buildings, offering a cozy, small-town feel and the perfect study spot.
But my particular favorite is the Renaissance Cafe. It opens every day at 6 a.m. and they have breakfast, they have wonderful coffee. The owners are also the chefs and proprietors.
UW-Tacoma is one of 40 designated urban serving institutions in the United States. Its unique partnerships include Urban Waters, which works on sustainability of the port, the Whole Child Initiative, which creates opportunities for students in Tacoma's public schools, and the YMCA, whose newly built recreational facility serves not only the students, but the greater downtown community.
So a lot of our partnerships are also opportunities for the students to get real experience in the outside world as they're going to school. So we're very proud of that fact, and we believe it prepares our students better for success in the world when they get out of college. And in the front of this building, there's
With new goals in the horizon, Chancellor Pagano plans to fulfill the shared vision of the student body, faculty, and staff with his method of strategic planning.
First, we need to dream. I said Martin Luther King had an I have a dream speech, not I have a plan speech. So we talked about having a dream first, what we might become, and then after we decide together what we might become for this community, then put together a plan that sets us towards those individual initiatives that we need to do to prepare ourselves to achieve that vision later.
As UW-Tacoma looks back on 25 years, Chancellor Pagano can't help but look forward to the future of UWT.
And what we hope for the next 25 years is this continue. We can further meld the downtown area with our campus, and the plan is the campus would extend and expand up the hill. And we would keep the same look and feel of this great urban space that would be very attractive to the students of the next 25 years.
I cannot believe that I'm standing here.
And with the University of Washington behind us and the Tacoma community alongside us, I think the sky is the limit. Anything can happen. It's an exciting future for this campus.
Dr. Pagano says he plans to forge strong relationships with a group of internal and external stakeholders who will work together to craft the campus vision for the next 25 years. We'll be right back. Welcome back to UW360 from the Henry Art Gallery. We'll take a tour of this amazing gallery a little later in the show. But first, the University of Washington is renowned for so many things. Its academics, its research, its sports, and now add one more item to that impressive list, its music. Producer Rick Garza introduces us to some incredibly talented musicians who chose to master their skills at the UW School of Music.
I'm Li-Cheng. I'm a pianist.
My name is Pokorny, and I'm a violinist.
My name is Lidia Kotlova. I'm a pianist.
Three exceptionally talented musicians from three diverse corners of the world, each thousands of miles from Seattle, but somehow all three chose the University of Washington.
Why am I here? It's a good question.
Lidia Kotlova is from a small mountain town in Russia.
My grandma wanted me to play piano. She had huge expectations for me and my sister too.
Lidia received her music degree in Russia, but then took a detour. She gave up piano to learn and teach East Indian dance. She met a man, married, and moved to Seattle after he landed a job here. That's when she began missing music.
I went on a Dr. McCabe's, who's my teacher, performance, and I thought, oh my God, if the faculty member can play so well, the level must be really high.
His father was a bandmaster.
Robin McCabe has been teaching piano at the UW since 1987.
Not only does Dr. McCabe help me, but also you can feel she really cares about every student.
Li-Cheng is from Taiwan.
You know, in Taiwan, learning music is kind of like a competitive stuff. Parents always pretty, well, I won't say force, but if they want their children to be really good, they will ask them to practice really hard.
That hard practice earned her a master's degree before coming to the U.S. Now she's closing in on a Ph.D. Corentin Pokorny began playing violin at the young age of 4 in a small village just north of Paris.
I've always found it pretty easy to do. People told me that I was talented for it, but there's still a lot of work involved.
Like both Lidia and Li-Cheng, Corey is so talented he could study almost anywhere, but chose the UW School of Music for one main reason.
I figured that I might as well get a degree here with great faculty and good experience, and then focus more on music conservatory for later on, like masters.
The UW is not one of the most famous music schools in the world, but music has been significant at the UW for more than 150 years. The first music degrees were conferred more than 100 years ago. Today, there are more than 400 students in the school. Its halls echo with the sounds of all those students practicing their craft, each hoping to fulfill lifelong goals.
I think my goals is to teaching college level students.
For me, performance is what I want to do. Is the only thing I can think of, really.
I'm looking forward to performing career so far, and maybe when I'm done performing, I will start teaching. The school gives me so many opportunities. It's unbelievable.
There are music school events almost every day during the school year. You can see a calendar on the music school's website. Okay, now to some research that affects anyone who's ever used over-the-counter drugs, like Benadryl for allergies or Tylenol PM to help you sleep. A new UW study links some common medications with an increased risk of dementia in people over 65. UW 360 reporter Sabrina Register has the details.
Song Circle at Seattle's Greenwood Senior Center is a chance for older neighbors to come together and belt out a few tunes. Neighbors like Maxine Bailey.
But she still loves it, and when they get in a group like this, she just kind of lights up.
But Maxine and these other singing seniors may not remember much about this experience or any other part of their day. That's because they live with dementia.
The dementia is getting a lot worse. She's going downhill. So she doesn't know anybody's name.
For Maxine, the results of a large UW group health study involving certain medications and increased risk for dementia don't mean much. But for older Americans who have not developed dementia, they could be life-changing.
The best way to study aging in the brain would be to start when people are normal and then follow them forward.
Dr. Eric Larson is the principal investigator on the Adult Changes in Thought study. That study, which involved some 3,500 seniors without dementia, tracked the medications they took for a period of years. About 20% of participants reported taking some kind of medication with anticholinergic effects that block a transmitter in the brain and body.
Many different drugs have anticholinergic effects, and they range from some of the older antidepressants, medications used for allergies and hay fever, medications and over-the-counter sleep aids, and medications used to treat urinary incontinence.
Those pink pills that relieve your sneezing and itchy, watery eyes, yep, those fall into this category, as do a lot of other common over-the-counter allergy medications. Dr. Shelly Gray says the study shows that these kinds of meds can put a senior at risk for dementia.
We found that the people that were the heaviest users were more likely to develop dementia over the follow-up time. People who were using these various medications at kind of average doses, if they were to use a medication for 3 years or longer, that would put them in the heaviest use group.
While the results may be cause for concern, the good news is that there are alternative medications available for allergies and depression that don't have anticholinergic effects. So seniors, check with your doctor.
You have to weigh, how much benefit are you getting from the possibility that you're giving yourself more risk, or more importantly, is there something else that would work just as well that's safer? And usually there is.
I think many people think that if a medication is available over the counter, it's safe. And so we just want people to be aware.
Back at the Greenwood Senior Center, Maxine takes in the singing and spirited atmosphere. Larry says some days are better than others.
A bunch of little steps going down, and some days there's bigger steps, but they all go down. And there's going to be a day she doesn't recognize me.
But until then, he's content to provide her with experiences that put a smile on her face. For UW 360, I'm Sabrina Register.
This latest study is a perfect example of why older patients should always consult with their doctor before taking any medicine. For a list of the medications mentioned in that study, just head to the AARP website, aarp.org. We'll be right back. Welcome back to UW 360. Every season, the Husky crew teams are in the hunt for yet another national title. And despite losing top-notch athletes to graduation, the Dogs have a deep bench. Every year, they dominate the competition. And as Aaron Mayofsky reports, this year's team is no exception.
Go ahead! The sounds of true champions.
Okay, aim out.
The Husky men's crew team on the water every day, bringing their game to a new level. A level few programs ever achieve.
I think it's each guy's here to prove themselves through rowing in some way, and I think there's a lot of camaraderie. There's a high standard on this team, and it's a place of work and performance. So I think we're not looking too much to the past. We're trying to see what we can do this year and trying to get it done.
And the dogs do get it done. Dominating on the water, but it's not easy. It's teamwork, hard work.
Now, these workouts on the water last about 2 hours, covering more than 12 miles here on Lake Washington. But this big effort in the wee hours of the morning is really paying off for the dogs when it comes to national titles.
The Huskies have put together an amazing string of championships, winning 4 consecutive national titles and 17 overall, the most by any Division I school. And no doubt the Huskies are big time, literally.
With the Huskies dominating each and every year comes the pressure to win. And this season is no different, with every opponent gunning for the dogs.
And one reason for the dogs' speed on the water comes from the smallest person on the team, but one with the largest voice.
I'm supposed to get them fired up and make sure that they do everything safely and correctly, and I kind of execute the race. I execute how everything goes down when it comes to race day.
Every year the fastest team's going to win. That's the thing about rowing, is there's not a lot of luck involved. You're almost just performing, you're presenting what you've prepared all year. And so when it comes down to it, the team that has worked the hardest is going to win. And I think that we've worked the hardest.
It's a special place to row. I mean, this campus is surrounded by waters and mountains and in the rain. It's a proud tradition, and you know, it couldn't be any more special than anywhere else in the world.
The Husky Rowing program is rich in history, dating back to 1901. They've sent men and women rowers to more than a dozen Olympic Games. When we come back, we'll get a special tour of the Henry as UW360 continues. Welcome back, everyone. It is one of the biggest exhibits ever here at the Henry Art Gallery. It features material from both the Burke Museum and UW libraries and combines them with newly commissioned work from acclaimed artist Ann Hamilton, who gave us a special tour.
You know, we have a very complex relationship with animals.
Artist Ann Hamilton examines that relationship.
You can see the alphabet book that is all illustrated by animals.
What man and animals have in common.
Touch is the sense that is common to all species.
And the different ways we touch.
Its upturned hands just, you know, kind of drew me in a little bit like the moth to the flame. The cloth is the hand that is always touching us. Hearing is a form of how we touch at a distance.
She brings all of this together in an exhibit called The Common Sense, which is filling the entire Henry Art Gallery for 6 months. There are hundreds of photos of animal specimens.
What's in focus in these images is the contact of that animal skin with the surface of the glass.
Another installation features dozens of bull roarers, noisy devices once used to call people together from far away. A third exhibit features garments made with fur, feathers, and animal gut. The displays resemble curtained bassinets.
You have to touch it to look in, and so you're invited into a relationship with that differently than if it was on display in another, maybe more conventional form.
It's not a artwork that you come and passively look at. It's something that you participate in, you engage in, and you're rewarded by engaging with.
Sylvia Wolf, director of the Henry Art Gallery, says Hamilton's exhibit also invites visitors to take part. They can take home a photo of an animal. Hamilton's images of specimens from the Burke Museum are printed on stacks of newsprint. The photos will run out over the course of the exhibit, just as some of the animal species have disappeared.
You see that there's a population. You also see that perhaps this population is depleting. And so there's a complex invitation here to take, but to be conscious of what you take.
Visitors can also leave something behind.
Here's how it works. You step into a special photo booth behind a translucent membrane. The membrane mimics the effect that Hamilton used when she captured the images of the animal specimens. My photo will become part of the exhibit.
Through the spray, he glided over the wall in a smooth outpouring, like water gliding over stone.
Visitors are also invited to contribute by reading out loud to the exhibits.
Anne talks about touch as a reciprocal act. We cannot be touched without touching in return. And what I would hope is that viewers would come and be touched by the art and learn something more about themselves as a result, not just about our world.
If you missed the exhibit here at the Henry, you'll still be able to see more of Anne Hamilton's work in Seattle. She's been commissioned to create artwork for the Seattle waterfront. And that does it for this edition of UW360. If you'd like more information on any of the stories you saw today, just head to our website at uwtv.org/UW360. You can also find us on Facebook and Twitter. I'm Carolyn Douglas. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time with all new stories from the University of Washington.